Alright, so today I'm going to show you how to make some cool, easy, stylized, simple fires. It's very easy, very fast. I will show you how to make the shader and some other cool stuff, so let's get right into it. So start by going to your favorite drawing program or image generator program. I chose Photoshop. Start by making a 1000 by 1000 size and then making the background black. Choose a big, soft brush and paint like a cone shape with a soft top, kind of like you see me doing here. This will basically be the shape of the fire. So when we're done with that, let's jump into Unity. Alright, so let's get started. We're gonna start by making the shader. So create shader. I'm gonna make an unlit graph. Name it fire. Let's open it up. I'm gonna make it full screen here. We're gonna need some variables. First of vector2. Which we can call speed. Set the y to minus 0.5. Then we want to add a 2D texture. Assign the texture we just made. We also want to add a color here. Make it white. Set the mode to HDR as well as turn this up a bit. Can change that later if it's too bright. Yeah, so what we're gonna make here is a scrolling texture, kind of. I'm just gonna show you. So let's start by adding a 2D texture. 2D texture sample. Drag this out here, plug it in just like that, and then we can drag only the R channel. The multiply B. We're gonna add a slight fade to this, which we can control. So we're gonna start by making a UV, dragging it out to a split, taking the G channel, making a -1, which just inverts the G channel, so it's upside down basically. We want to take this into a power node, and we're going to put this into the A multiply. So this right here will control the fade, how much it fades up and down, as you see. I'm going to leave it at 0.3, just a very slight fade at the top. After that, we're going to add the solving part, which will make the fire look like fire. So to do that, we're going to need a time node. We're going to take that time node into a multiply, and then we want to take our speed, plug it into the B here, drag this out into tiling and offset, into the offset part. After that, we're going to drag this out, make a Voronoi. We're going to plug it into the UV here, play around with the size. I'm going to take something like 10. I'm also going to plug in the time to the angle offset, so they move a little bit, which will make the fire more organic. I'm going to take this and plug it into a simple noise, into the UV, not the scale. I'm going to take a scale something like 50 maybe. This will just add some extra texture to the fire. So drag this out, drag the out here into a split, the out here into a multiply, and then we take the R channel here into the B, and we'll get kind of an interesting pattern that moves a bit. So after that, we want to blend these two. We're gonna make them add up to each other. So how we do that is we need an add node. So drag this out, add, put it into the B, and put this into the A. And basically what we have here is the beginning of this shit. So now if we plug this into color here, it will look really messed up. You can also change this to a quad so we see it better. So we want to remove all the things outside this form here, this sprite we draw. So how we do that is we can use a step node and put it into the in, and we cancel out everything around. And with that we have a nice clean fire looking thing. So I'm just gonna move everything back a bit. So what we need now is we need to add some glow to this. And how we do that is we're gonna create a node of vector vertex color. This node here makes us control the color of the fire from the particle system, because we will use the particle system because it's just easier. So drag this out here into a multiply. Take your color, drag it out, put it into the A and put this into the B. Also make sure your color has the opacity of full opacity 255. And with that we're going to multiply this as well. So multiply this to the B, multiply this to the A, and plug it into the color. Nice. Press the little cog here. When it says opaque, choose transparent and drag this out into a split. Take the A into the alpha. And just like that we have the beginning of the shader. Now we just need to make the particle system. So save this, cancel this out, right click, create empty, right click, effects, particle system. Also right click in your folder, create, press M to create a new material, call it fire, drag the fire shader into the fire material, drag the fire onto the particle system. Now we're gonna change the particle system up a bit so it looks better. So what we want to do is start size, first start speed, set it to 0, we don't want it to move. Shape, take away the shape. Emission, set 1. Or go down to render, remember to set the max render particle size to 3, otherwise it will get smaller the closer you get to it. Now it will stay the same size no matter how far the camera is away. Change the start size to whatever fire you need. Change the view to local, or if you want you can say set it to a vertical billboard, and this means it will look at the camera at all times depending on how you want it. This is more of a 2D fire, it will look very 2D. I'm sure you could apply a mesh to it to make it kind of look more like a 3D kind of thing. But yeah, so now what we need is to change the color here. You can just change it however you want. Made it in the particle system. I'm gonna go with a nice purple because it seems cool. Also, to make it easier, right now the pivot point is in the middle of the object. That can be kind of annoying. So if you go down here and press 0.5, it should 0.5. It should be in the bottom. I thought maybe 0.3 or something. You can play around with that just to make it easier to move around, so you know where the pivot point is supposed to be. 4. 4 is a good number. Right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to Control D, duplicate this, go down to render, set the order layer to 1 because this will be in front of the other particle system at all times. Change this to a brighter color, something like a bright white or just a bright color of the color you chose. Make the particle size, the size of the thing a bit smaller. I'm gonna change this back to billboard. This as well. Because it seems like the pivot gets kind of fucked up otherwise, so it's just easier. And you can mess around with the start size here to make however big you want the inner flame to be. Something like this might be good, or something smaller, depends on your taste really. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And you can also make some cooler shapes For example, you could go in here to your material and change this. I made another shape like this, and you get a very different result. But if you do that, you're gonna have to change a bit in the shader. For example, the power node. Actually, what we could do is we could add another vector one here and change it to fade or something, and plug it into the B here, so we can control that outside. So right, if you go into your material here and you can choose the fade, you can choose how much you want it to disappear. Pretty nice, pretty nice. You can move this around, and yeah, you can make pretty cool fires using this technique. I hope this was helpful, and yeah, watch my other videos for more cool effects. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I have more effects on my YouTube channel. Go check them out. I also have other tutorials and fun videos. Have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video.